Trans people are not linked to higher rates of violence, and the overwhelming majority of mass attacks are committed by cisgender men. I'm going to pause real quick and say that's a lie.
Well, which ethnicity of cisgender men?
Yeah.
I love ChatGPT because it's basically an establishment machine where you can test the perception of the establishment. And so when this happened, I sent the story, I took the link and I posted it in ChatGPT. Without saying anything, just sharing the story, it responded with, trans people are not more likely to commit mass shootings. I asked it, how come several of the latest, most recent mass shootings were committed by trans people? And it then said, white cisgender men commit more mass shootings than any other demographic. And when I asked it about black men, it said, when black men in Baltimore, St. Louis, Chicago, and D.C. commit mass shootings, and they do commit a disproportionately high amount of mass shootings, those don't count because they're motivated by poverty, whereas white cisgender men are motivated by mental illness issues or political causes.
Insane.
Which is like, okay, well, now you're lying. But that's the narrative machine. The reason why ChatGPT says this is because our news institutions will say, cisgender white men commit more mass shootings. And when you go, what about the black community in Baltimore and D.C., where there's a disproportionately high amount of mass shootings? And then the mainstream media just says, well, due to poverty and other factors, we don't consider those. Our experts have decided those aren't the same thing as a mass shooting. And it's like, it is. But back to the story, I want to say this. This is one of the smartest things the Trump admin has ever done. This is a master move. It is akin to a fork in chess. You ever see one of those beautiful moves where you got the rook in the bottom left corner and they're king, and you put the bishop and they're in check, and now that's like, you got to move your king out of check, and they do, and then boom, bishop takes the rook. That's what this is. Democrats and liberals have two choices. They can decide to go to the Supreme Court to defend the right of trans Americans to own guns, and I agree they should be allowed to own guns, which means Democrats will be forced to argue in favor of gun rights, which is going to be real tough for them, or they're going to have to abandon trans as a demographic. They're going to have to outright say, we're not going to go to bat for you in this process. You just lose your rights to have guns.
You are presuming that they will not continue to live with crippling cognitive dissonance.
I didn't say that. I said they're going to have to fight on our behalf or abandon. So I don't care what their motivation is. I don't care what lies they want to say. I don't care what claims they want to make. When liberals and the ACLU and Democrats go to the Supreme Court and say, you can't ban trans people from having guns, the Supreme Court then says, you're right. Everybody can have guns.
I think chat's going to hate me and accuse me of being a communist European or something.
I'll do that anyways.
I say this, we invented American liberty. That's fine. I'm happy that you guys get to retain it, even if my country doesn't. But I think it's entirely consistent with having a republic capable of guaranteeing its own security with an armed citizenry and banning crazy, demented transsexuals from owning firearms that they will use on people other than themselves. I think that is completely consistent. And yes, there's lots of fear about the government just arbitrarily classifying people as mentally ill and confiscating your guns.
They'll do that anyways.
They're going to do that anyway. You can put reasonable limitations on who should and shouldn't own firearms, including the people like, Audrey Hale or that Dylan Butler person in Iowa or this brand new trans shooter who just hate Christian children and want to murder them en masse.
The people that make the argument, you can't do this because then the left will do it to you. We've already seen that the left will do it regardless of what the right does. Now, that this particular issue aside, right, I don't know if it's actually the right move to say trans people can't have guns. I think there's probably a case-by-case decision. Because I don't think that everybody that's trans is likely to go and shoot up a church. I think it's far more likely if they're immersed in the LGBTQ ideology, and there are probably other factors. I don't think that a blanket ban would work, but that doesn't mean that I'm also not going to sit there and be like, oh, we can't do this because the left will do it to us, because that's not an argument. They're going to do it either way. If they had the option, if they had the ability to remove guns from from every private individual in the United States, they absolutely would. So to say that, oh, you can't do this to trans people because they'll take your guns, if they get the chance, if they have the ability, they're going to do that anyway.
The other thing to consider, too, is that we have continually tried to maintain this classical liberal approach to we must protect the rights of everybody, even our enemies. And what we've learned is that communists have exploited that for the past several generations to burn us to the ground. So my attitude's shifted, and I'm more like, if you're in favor of gun rights for all, and you've fought for the protection of 2A and 1A, I'll defend you as well, regardless of what economic system you want. But if you're a commie who's tried taking guns away from other people, when they come for your guns, I'm going to put my feet up and say, I am helping you.
I have the same mentality with everyone I meet. You treat people as well as you can the first time you meet them, and after that, you treat them as they treat you. Otherwise, if you don't apply a principle of reciprocity, you get exploited. I will just say before Tate chimes in, I think that if they're going to do this, it won't be on the diagnosis of gender dysphoria strictly, because then you'll have, people with depression or a history of depression having their guns taken away. It might be that people that are on currently HRT in the same way that it exacerbates violent symptoms, something like SSRIs or testosterone replacement does.
Yeah. Well, yeah, even then, I mean, even there even is an argument. This is kind of like, it's the same argument we had the flag burning, is like, if you do look at the founders' view on these sorts of things, on the Second Amendment, is they did have the English common law tradition of lunatics. It's like the Second Amendment is predicated on responsible gun ownership, and that's why you had in colonial governments and early state governments restrictions on like felons, on loyalists, ironically, which is pretty funny, and then lunatics, because it was like there was this understanding that this is a protection of responsible gun ownership. So I think it's a perfectly valid question for the Trump administration to ask is, okay, these people clearly aren't responsible, and the fact that they're not predisposed to violence, it's like, well, they're predisposed to violence against themselves. We see that on a very regular basis. So it's like I think there's room here for this argument that Trump's administration is making just on constitutional grounds.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.